Hello, welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry. Today we're talking about discernment and a tiered list. 2 secret weapons for calm, values-centered productivity. I'm April Perry, and if you are brand new, here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. I want to help you get out of overwhelm. I want to help you to feel calm and purposeful. And I want you to wake up excited and go to bed content. I'm happy to be back here on the podcast. Our daughter and wonderful team member, Aaliyah, has done an amazing job podcasting these past several weeks while Eric and I were in Kenya with Village Impact. And if you come to the show notes page, it's learndobecome.com/episode 297. We have a video recap that Village Impact made that we'll link to. It was an amazing trip where we were able to be there for a school celebration. Village Impact builds schools in tandem with the government in Kenya, in Nakuru County. And we went in 2023, and then we went again here in 2025. With the support of our Rise community, we were able to help send money to these schools and help these students. And it's just such a gift to get to be part of it. So if you want to learn more about that, come check out the show notes and the links. But as Aaliyah was covering the podcast, I was having the best time because I'm traveling and I would see a new episode came up and I was listening to her share her experiences and wisdom. She's one of our coaches here in our productivity program. And it was wonderful. She strengthens me, and her episodes beautifully illustrate how the principles that we talk about here at Learn, Do, Become literally work for every age and stage. So a big thanks to Aaliyah. Today, I thought it would be fun to talk about 2 secret weapons for calm productivity. And I could call them useful tools, but I kind of like feeling like a ninja when I call them weapons. And when I say calm, values-centered productivity, I mean that we're able to get the right things done and feel a deep sense of progress in our lives, but we're not hurrying or hustling or jumping back and forth from thing to thing, etc. I have a tendency to want to do too much or move too fast or say yes to too many things. But in my heart of hearts, calm, values-centered productivity is the only kind of productivity I truly want in my life. I'm hopeful that as we come together to, clean our homes, do our work, take care of our families, live our purpose, all of this, that we can do it in a way that we're balanced and we're healthy and we're not just rushing to try to be successful. All right, so the 2 secret weapons to help do that I'm covering today are discernment and a tiered list. But I want to give a little background on why I'm even discussing this. As Eric and I were traveling, we had a chance to talk to many, many people from different walks of life. Now, Eric is extremely extroverted, and our children joke that he makes friends with everyone and helps them rethink their business models, and then they ask him to be in their weddings. I can't tell you how many times we're at an ice cream shop, and all of a sudden Eric's having business consulting conversations, and then they're best friends and exchanging phone numbers. I mean, he just has a gift for loving people and connecting with them and wanting to serve them. It's great. Now, I am more of an introvert, an ambivert, kind of in the middle. But I do genuinely care about others, and I try to be helpful. So between the 2 of us, we're usually able to have a lot of solid, meaningful conversations. And when we meet new people, they usually ask us what we do. And we explain that we help people, who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And we talk about how we help people out of overwhelm, and we enable them to feel calm and present even when there are thousands of emails or piles of stuff or tons of ideas swirling in their minds. We help calm all that down, help them be able to architect their lives, okay? Now, as we tell people this, they often widen their eyes and take a deep breath and say things like, "Oh, I need that." Because who doesn't feel distracted or overwhelmed nowadays, right? And we don't go deep right there and start teaching them our, steps to everyday productivity system and set up their current projects list. We don't do any of that because sometimes they're just trying to be polite and they don't actually want us, in their business. But here's what I notice from our conversations when the people we speak with are willing to share their struggles. There's 2 main things I notice. Number 1, They use procrastination and distraction as methods to feel free. You can probably relate to this, but when we put something difficult off for a while, it feels kind of good. Like, well, I don't have to do that if I don't want to. I'm the boss of my life. See how strong and free I am? And when we distract ourselves from doing those hard things by doing something else that feels more fun, perhaps, it's like we're laying a foundation for good things to come so we can feel good about our intentions or our side projects, even though they're distracting us from what we really need to do. Like, I'm going to organize my kitchen because once it's organized, I'll be able to build my business. But then you still find something else to do later on instead of building your business, so you end up stuck or maybe even shutting down the business. So that's the first thing I noticed. But I do need to make a little caveat. Sometimes it is important to lay a foundation and get things clean, organized, done before you step into something that feels kind of hard, because you will feel better. Like today, Eric and I are flying out to go see Leah and Josh and our 2 little grandchildren, and we're leaving in about 45 minutes. So I've kind of been procrastinating. I wouldn't say procrastinating, but kind of been putting off recording this podcast because recording is always a little hard for me. Like, I have to, and I sit down, I feel kind of vulnerable. I feel like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't come off right? Or what if I stumble over my words? I don't know. I just have things in my head maybe that make this feel a little harder than something like packing my suitcase. And so instead of recording this early in the morning and then packing my suitcase, I did spend the morning getting everything packed and clean and ready and organized. So now I feel like I can just sit and record this and then we can walk out the door. Like, no struggles. So choosing to prioritize one thing over another is not the same thing as procrastination and distraction. But I think it is important we always look back at our motives and say, was that the appropriate way to do it? Or next time, would I do it differently? Okay, so I'm just going to stop now. We'll move on to the second thing I noticed when I talk to people is that their stressful issues typically don't just go away. And you might say, thank you for stating the obvious, April. But here's the thing. We can get really good at masking the stress and pretending like everything is good. But unless we actually work on the deepest challenges we're facing, they're typically only going to get worse. I'll just share a quick example. There's so many examples I could share. I mean, from my personal life, from history, from stuff I'm going through right now. But here's an example. We met an entrepreneur who had started a brand new shop. She'd been running it for about a year. Now, she was struggling to manage her inventory and to market her products, etc. And she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to keep her shop open much longer. So to make ends meet, she'd taken on some contract work that was taking quite a bit of her time. But the money felt good and it helped stop some of the gaps that she was facing. However, when she did have time to work on her shop, she found it overwhelming, so she would just watch TV or scroll on her phone and just relax, which I totally understand because I used to do the same thing when Eric and I were starting our first business back in 2007. I watched TV all the time and I would not work on a thing because I felt like it's too big. But that stress behind the scenes is still there, actually getting worse and making it so your relaxation time isn't actually relaxing you. Because subconsciously, you know there's something else you need to be doing. Okay, so what do these things have to do with our secret weapons for today? Let's just dive in. First secret weapon is discernment. Asking ourselves the question, what is the most important thing for me to do in my blank, like personal life, family, business, volunteer work, etc.? Asking what is the most important thing for me to do in this part of my life is incredibly important. And then using our discernment to answer that question appropriately is a skill. And I personally would add, I believe it's a gift from our higher power. There's a book called The One Thing, and in it, authors Gary Keller and Jay Papasan ask, what's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? I like to think of it like dominoes. What's that one project or that one thing you could focus on that if you did it, everything else would kind of just fall into place? So we can apply that question to multiple facets of our lives, like our health and our relationships, finances, purpose, etc. But what's so interesting to me is how infrequently we talk about discernment as a society. It's so easy to get distracted by our phones, to move through our days based on others' agendas, or to just sit and do nothing because the alternative feels so overwhelming. And anyone can make a list and check it off, right? The skill comes as we use our discernment to put the best things on our lists, and as we use our discernment to make adjustments along the way if our attention needs to shift to something more important. And I could go on and on about this, but there are some AI tools out there, for example, where if a meeting is canceled, it automatically adds something else into your schedule for you. Now, that could be helpful if everything on your, next in line list is equally important, it requires the same amount of energy, you're always just ready to do it right then. But what I found is I don't want another person or a tool to tell me what I need to work on. I want to be able to use my own discernment to say, what is the most important thing and what do I feel is the best thing for right now, given how much time I have, given my energy, given my hormones, given emotional, stuff that's going on, whatever. And so that gift and that ability to discern, it's critical. So then that leads us to ask, what can we do to protect our ability to discern? Now, the answer might be different for you, but I thought about it and realized I personally prioritize things like spending time with my higher power, taking care of my mental health, my thinking patterns, getting enough sleep, nutrition, exercise, and connecting, like reviewing my goals and vision each day. Those are just a few things. When I have all of that going well and my relationships are good, I've cleared the clutter, I feel calm, then I feel like discernment is not difficult. I can just look at what needs to happen and then I can figure out what makes the most sense. So when we see discernment as a secret weapon or an incredibly beautiful gift, then we'll notice that self-care isn't optional. It's essential because it protects this ability. And I was just watching a YouTube video. A friend of mine has a channel, and she hadn't been doing YouTube for a long time, and which I get because I just took a break for a while too. And she said, the reason I paused was because my body was starting to shut down. Like I was doing too much. And we hear that so many times. We don't hear it from the people whose bodies are shutting down typically because they're in the process of trying to push through and make it seem like everything's good. But then you hear about it in retrospect all the time where someone said, oh yeah, it looked like I was on top of the world, but actually I wasn't functioning, So I just wanted to emphasize this idea that discernment is a secret weapon, a great tool, a beautiful gift. And it's our job to protect that ability to discern. And a lot of that involves great self-care. In fact, that's what we do in our Arise membership. It's all about helping us to be able to transform and grow, but wake up excited and go to bed content. We're doing that in a balanced, calm, beautiful way where we're not sacrificing health and relationships and time with our higher power in order to just be successful. Okay. All right. Now, secret weapon number 2 is a tiered list. So if you've listened to anything I've done over the past, 10, 15 years, I love David Allen's book, Getting Things Done, and his whole methodology. It has blessed my life in so many ways. Some people give it a hard time, though, because it consists of, quote, lots of lists. But I don't see it that way, though. I see it as a visual way to take all the stuff in my mind and heart and everything that used to clutter up my physical space and organize it by what matters now and what might matter later. Sometimes, though, our now list gets super long. I know you know this because when I talk to people about their lists, they show me, and they're usually incredibly long, and then they just get longer, and people are trying to whack at them and check them off, and it's ridiculous, right? So I've created some guidelines for myself and I teach them in our Steps to Everyday Productivity program, to limit the number of projects, tasks, routines, etc. that I need to focus on at one time. I like just having a number saying if it goes above this, it's not essential. Like, we've got to cut it down. I've got to be realistic here. And this works through these tiered lists. They're simply set up so the most important items are front and center, but the other ones are not forgotten. So here's how it works. I'm going to walk through for projects, tasks, and routines. So for projects, we have a projects list, a place where they sit. I use Asana, A-S-A-N-A. You can use any digital project manager. You can use Paper, like you can use Google Doc, like whatever you want. Okay, but for my projects where I keep them, I have current, in progress or waiting, next in line, and someday. I've done videos on this. I've talked about this a lot, so there's more on the site. And I have a little visual I'm putting on the show notes page if you want to see it. But here's how I then structure the number. I allow no more than 7 to 8 total projects on my current list. And those are divided by projects for me, for my family, and beyond. Beyond for me means work or volunteer activities. So I keep these not only in Asana, I also write them on my chalkboard. I also write them on my planner bookmark. So I know these are my projects that I'm working on currently. And there's maybe like a couple in each category. A couple for me, a couple for my family, a few for work. I just make sure that the total is not more than 7 or 8. And the reason I have these 3 categories is because I want to be balanced. I don't want to work on 8 business projects and do nothing for my family or for my personal well-being. And so this helps me make sure I'm, doing things that matter for the people I love and for myself, but I'm also moving forward with the work I do to hopefully help other people. Then I allow just a few to sit in the in progress or waiting. This is like the holding tank for a project that I cannot move forward on right now because I'm waiting for someone else to do something. So like if you've delegated something to someone, you move it to your in progress or waiting. Or if you say, well, I've done everything I can, I have to wait until kids are back in school or whatever, then you can say it's in progress or waiting. Until then, you have a little calendar reminder to bring it back. Next, I have maybe 10 to 20 projects in my next in line and perhaps 20 to 30 in my someday. That's a good amount for me, so I can skim, I can reprioritize if needed, and I can generally see them with just a few scrolls on the computer. And then anything that doesn't fit in those categories goes into a someday way later spot that's tucked away. I keep mine in Evernote and I just throw it in there where it's just a whole bunch of ideas I probably will never get to, but I don't want to forget about them just in case, and some of them might pop up again later. So that's projects, the current, in progress or waiting, next in line, and someday. I think of it like a pyramid, and the little picture is on our show notes. Now for tasks, we have a next actions list and a next in line next actions list. So my next actions list, I talk about this all the time, but and there's a video explanation, I'll link in the show notes. But it's just a simple bookmark that's in my paper planner. I like paper, so that's where I put it. And I try to have no more than 3 tasks in each category. So I have home, to discuss, computer, phone, and errands. And this list also is supposed to be completed by the end of each week. So if I know I won't do something that week, I don't put it on that list. I would make a calendar reminder for it, or I add it to my next in line, next actions list that I review during my weekly review when I create my new bookmark. So if you think of it like a little bookmark with flexible tasks that can be done anytime that week, but they're next actions, they're not projects, right? They're very specific things I can actually do, organized by where I am when I'm getting them done. And I just get that list done every week. That is so nice. And it's very short. But because I'm, covering errands, for example, well, what if there's 18 places that I want or need to go? I'm not going to put 18 there unless I'm actually going to do all 18 errands. Still, I don't even think I would do that because I'd probably just put it on my calendar page if I had an appointment to go do those errands. So I try to keep it just very, very simple because you want to always be able to know what's the highest priority, so that when you do have time that opens up to run an errand or make a phone call or something, you just have a few little things to pick from and you get it done and it's no big deal. This way my flexible tasks get done very easily. And It just doesn't feel cumbersome. And then for routines, we have must-do routines and then would love to do routines. The would love to do routines fold in with what we call the multiple choice perfect day. And we have a whole video on it, a podcast on it, but essentially what that means is you don't have to do 100 things every single day. You do a few essentials every day, and then you pick and choose from the other, 90 some things that you want to be doing. And every day is a perfect day. It's just multiple choice. Like some days I'm going to take a shower and do my hair. Other days I put it up in a bun and I just kind of stay in, leggings and a t-shirt all day. Like I don't have to be fully dressed and ready every single day. And it's a perfect day whether I do or not. And so this is just, anyway, it's been awesome for me. So that was Eric's creation. He's like, how about you don't stress yourself out over all your routines? How about we have a multiple choice perfect day? And that stuck for years. So if I absolutely need or want or have to do something, like I want every day to prepare healthy foods, to finish some specific projects. I like to have project work. I study my scriptures. I exercise. I take care of my home and family. Because those are things I want to do, like my non-negotiables, those things are either already on autopilot or they're blocked out on my calendar, or they're given an assigned date in my digital task manager, so I won't forget them. And there's just a few, and they're basically just autopilot routines. So those things just happen, and they help me to feel healthy and happy and keep the house clean and all that. But there are lots of, would love to do routines that I don't want to fill up my calendar because it's okay if they don't happen. But I also don't want to forget them, so I just have them on my digital routines list without deadlines, and I review them during my weekly review. They all consist of my would love to do routines. And these are usually extra fun things that I might decide to do, like practice my guitar, or they're additional ideas I may do if I have energy, like reading certain books or helping certain people or sending encouraging texts to old friends, etc. So it's all the wonderful things that we want to do in our hearts. You have them on the list as options, but you get to pick and choose depending on how your day's going, how you're feeling. But the reason I get so excited about tiered lists is because most of the people here at Learn, Do, Become have hundreds of thousands of things they want to do. If I'm guessing right, you are compassionate and energetic and thoughtful, excited about a lot of things, eager to learn, confident that you can make a difference in the world, and those are incredible characteristics. But if people like you don't have tools to help organize all of those beautiful intentions, you end up feeling exhausted or frustrated or unfulfilled, waking up overwhelmed and going to bed more overwhelmed instead of waking up excited and going to bed content. And that's how I know if I'm putting the right expectations on myself, is if I truly wake up with that lift, excited to meet my day. And if I go to bed feeling content, like, wow, that was a great day. And yeah, maybe everything didn't go perfectly or as planned, but it was my multiple choice perfect day, right? So now it's time for the Learn, Do, Become invitation. If you're thinking, okay, April, I am willing to give your secret weapons a try. What should I do next? Here's my invitation. First, take a moment to brainstorm what it would take to protect your gift of discernment. Maybe you're just going to keep doing what you're already doing. That's great. Most likely, it's going to involve some serious self-care. So commit to doing that. Then I invite you to go through your projects, routines, and tasks and create tiered lists like I outlined. And you can read this podcast if you want to come to the show notes page, learndobecome.com/episode 297. All of it's here for you. So you can read through, you can see some pictures, you can click on links. I just want you to try it because what I am confident is going to happen is, number one, you're going to say, okay, I really need to take better care of myself, or I need to keep taking good care of myself. And you're going to feel excited about that. Second, when you make the tiered lists, your stress level is going to be cut in half at least. When I started doing this, it cut my stress level, I would say, by 90%. It changed my life, which is why I've been talking about this and teaching this for 17 years. This is so important. So I hope that you're excited about that, and come let me know in the comments how it went. Now I'm just going to share a few community celebrations. Sharing these celebrations is one of my very favorite things to do because when I hear these stories about how your lives are being changed because you are implementing the steps and the things that we talk about here, I just feel so excited for you, proud of you, and thrilled with your success. So this first one is from Judy, and there are a whole bunch of before and after pictures of her piles and how she cleared things up. So we'll put the photos on the show notes page, so come check those out. But here's what she said. It's been a very busy few days. I dived back into the STEP program after a break of a few months. I hadn't completed the program, but during our time away, things got completely out of hand. We've been traveling overseas. We're gone for 6 weeks. I basically let the piles grow for another month. If any of you are like, I am there, then listen to what she did. She said, it's hard to believe I was able to get so much done in the relatively small amount of time I had before we leave tomorrow morning for another week. It's not all done, but I've cleared all the spaces where my work had piled up, set up a command central, created a portable command central for our travels, and triaged a huge pile of papers. I know when I get back, I need to deal with everything that got put into a little cubby, but at least I've pulled out the important papers and things needing immediate attention. That huge pile of papers only took me a little over an hour to triage. I also found $3,670.77 in uncashed insurance and tax refunds and a $25 gift card. So it was definitely time well spent. So about an hour and she got thousands of dollars. Then she sent her before and after pictures. So she is going to help her parents celebrate their 74th wedding anniversary. Thanks to STEP, I now have a clear head and can enjoy myself. Okay. This makes me want to cry. Because you think about it, when you go to spend time like that with your parents, your family, and you know you have piles of stuff, just a mess, it's so hard to not worry that something in that pile is going to explode and you're going to be in trouble when you get home, right? When you can clear things up and you go through it and you know what you're not dealing with, but you're okay with it because it's not urgent, you can go actually enjoy and have that clear head and the peace. So well done, Judy. I love it. Next is a quick one from Karen. She said, yay, getting things done. Went through about 3 IKEA bins of papers on a first pass. Keep, shred, trash. I now have a kitchen garbage bag full of trash and a grocery bag full of shredding. I have about 3 more boxes in the nook to sort like this. I'm going to church soon, but I expect I will get those 3 boxes sorted by tomorrow. Then sort and file what's remaining. P.S. I have found about $600 in various gift cards, perhaps more. Way to go, Karen. Love it. Next is another Judy. Says, gotta share this surreal and funny moment. We interviewed a new pet/house sitter, and as we showed her around our home, she kept remarking, you're so organized. And I was tempted to say, you should have seen this house 10 days ago. But I held my tongue and just smiled inwardly. And I'm not even all the way through the program yet. I still have a lot left to do. But how fun that someone who comes over to, house sit is commenting, look how organized you are. So well done. So cute. And then this last one, it just made our whole team just we were all just touched by it. It says, hello, April and Eric and all the others at Learn to Become. I am writing to say a great big thank you for taking the time to figure out this organizational system for me and everyone else that also needed this help. I just joined STEP. I'm only 3 days in, but already I'm feeling calmer, clearer-minded, and on top of my life, and I'm smiling. So far, I have made my lists all digital because I'm tired of paper and Post-it notes, and just this has changed my life. The capture tool is indispensable for making sure I don't forget anything. My daily schedule has made me so productive all day. I broke down all the things I have to do daily into morning, afternoon, and evening task checklists, so I'm not trying to do everything at night in a crazed, angry flurry and getting to bed too late. Well described. I scheduled 2 project sessions into my day, which ensures that I make progress on something every day. I absolutely hate cleaning my house, so I have scheduled just a 20-minute cleaning stint in the afternoon and broke down my weekly cleaning tasks into little bits. This way, I clean just a little bit every day and will eliminate the need for all-day Saturday or all-day Sunday cleaning. Yesterday, I dusted my bedroom for the first time in a year. I'm looking forward to no more grueling weekends of cleaning the house all day or that scramble to clean quickly before company comes over. I've not created my command central yet, but I am doing the nightly landing spot and message management and look forward to having the command central when I get it set up. But April and Eric, the absolute best parts of my new daily schedule are the 1 hour of guilt-free, all caps, relaxing time with my family in the evenings, and the half hour of blissful reading before I turn the lights out at night. I smile as I am getting ready for bed, knowing I will get to read a bit of a book before I go to sleep. I never gave myself the grace to do that before. I've always felt a constant need to be doing something because there was no plan for how anything was going to get done, and I always felt sad that there was no time in my life for reading. Thank you for relieving the chaos in my brain. It is so reassuring to know that everything is written down in my digital lists, that I don't have to hold it all in my head and risk forgetting it or having the tasks go in and out of my brain multiple times a day, stressing me out. Another big thank you for making me feel confident that I can handle my life. Sincerely, Janet. P.S. I also turned off my email notifications, so I only look at email once a day instead of reacting and interrupting my day every time I receive one. How refreshing. Okay, so I don't know there's more I can say on that, but knowing that Janet and others are out there being able to read, to connect with family, to finally relax and have their brain calm. And this is after only being in the program for 3 days as she was sharing all this, which was so great. Oh, it means so much to me. And this is why I'm continuing to do my work here at Learn, Do, Become. Eric and I have been talking a lot about our lives lately and what we want to do. And, we just became empty nesters. Our lives have opened up. We're in a good situation. I don't have to be working like crazy, we're debt free. And I was, prayerfully asking God, is it time for me to transition to something else? Or is it time for me to really step in and grow, learn, do, become? Because I'll do whatever I'm meant to do or was created to do. But I don't know. And the feelings that I've been having is that this time right now in my life is for me to put my heart and soul into Learn, Do, Become and grow it and cheer you on and help build this community where you can be here supporting each other. So I'm very, very grateful to be here and grateful for these beautiful messages that our community members share with us. I literally have hundreds that are in queue. And so we're doing our best. We are putting them on learndobecome.com/step-testimonials. So if you want to go check those out, you can read a bunch. Okay, quick announcements before I close up. Upcoming events at Learn, Do, Become. Eric and I are doing an Arise workshop. We usually do them the second Tuesday of the month, but when you come into Arise, you get immediate access that you can get that month's class and workshop, the recording right there. Most people can't make it live because we're a global organization and, we all just can't coordinate our schedules, but that's okay. But our topic this month is about finance, where we're going to do a finance health check-in, and we're going to have the conversations that really matter around finances. So we would love to have you join us. If you're listening right when this podcast goes live, then our class is Tuesday, August 12th. We're also looking at doing a finance date night, which I'm thrilled about, where we're going to come together on a Friday night and just have kind of a Q&A discussions talking about how to get where you want to be financially. So Arise goes through 6 different areas of focus. Finance is one of them, and we rotate those twice a year. Anyway, super fun. So come check that out at learndobecome.com/arise. We're also doing a live step momentum. So inside our Steps to Everyday Productivity program, the mastery version, where we have a Facebook group and you can bring in a spouse and we've got coaching and all of that. We're going through something we call Step Momentum, where you decide the day you're going to start. We're all going to start on the same day. And then you can get the assignments emailed and texted to you. So they're bite-sized, they're simple. We have places you can report back. There's fun accountability. We have a graduation ceremony. We're doing it live where Eric and I will get on and we'll read your name that you graduated. It's super fun. So there's a kickoff call happening Wednesday, September 3rd. You can go to learndobecome.com/momentum to figure it out. If you're already in our Step Mastery program, this is included with that. If you've been thinking about joining our Step Mastery program or upgrading, now is the time, but go to the Momentum page and it'll tell you about that. And we would just love to have you come join us because you can get organized and you can calm your mind and you can feel so good. And if nothing else, I hope that this podcast has helped you to understand the power of that discernment and your tiered lists. Like those two things. If you even just start with that, that's fantastic. But we hope that you'll come be close and work with us. And I know it's an investment. I get it. I met someone the other day who said, I've been wanting to join your program, but the money, I don't know. I'm like, I get it. We have lots of free resources here on the site for you if you don't feel like this is the right time. But if you're ready to invest in yourself, we have a money back guarantee. We're here. We've been doing this for so long that we know that this is going to work for you. And think how amazing it'll feel to have a calm mind. Okay. All right. Sending lots of love. So grateful to have the chance to be with you. I'm grateful for the chance to build a podcast. And I'm going to go see my grandchildren now. Eric and I are off to travel. So, all right. Love you. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.